Hi, my name is Mr. Mushroom, and this is Quotes with Mr. Mushroom, episode 8. Before we get started, I'll tell you that my quotes will be in my social medias if you want to check them out and you don't want to hear me talk about it and go over it. If you don't want to hear the things behind it, that's okay, but I'll put in a link in the description. If you're new here, before we get started, I show it to you, read it to you, explain it to you, tell you the story behind it and what it means to me. So, let's begin. You must create the path for others to follow. Every road was once just a field of grass until someone paved the way, turning it into a journey for others to walk on. So this means different things. You know, it means building your path, your future, building a journey, or it can be put as you leading others at being a leader. So the story behind this is where I'm from, there was probably about 30 houses on the whole block of my neighborhood. So each block had like 5 or 6 houses on them, and there's 5 blocks. And I can see from my house, I can see the main street, I can see across the canal, and see the other streets, and then from there I can see the back of the roads and then the side of the roads as well of the main streets. But as years went by and our city became more populated, more houses, more roads began to appear, and that made me realize that someone was there first before me who walked on that path and made it easier for others to follow on that path as well. And as I grew older, I realized that this path is leading others to either your journey or to create another journey, and that's why we have roads. And at every start, there's always going to be an empty field that hasn't been paved yet, that no one has paved yet, and that could be your journey. That's what primarily I'm doing. And that's why I feel lost sometimes, because when you're in a situation where you're in the jungle or you're in a forest or you're just stranded out in the desert, you don't know where you're going, or you have no sense of directions of where you should be going because you have no path to follow. You just kind of have to pick a direction and keep moving forward. And that's why I feel lost sometimes. That's why I feel like, am I even doing what I'm supposed to? Is this even the right direction that I'm supposed to be going in? I have no clue. I have no sense of this is the right way to go, because I'm not being told. That I have no signs, I have no indicator, I have no nothing except a compass, which is basically in my head telling me this is where I should go, this is what I should be doing. And that's why I choose that. The reasoning behind this is because when you grow older and you start to realize that you're not just creating a path for yourself, you're creating a path for your family to follow. Because when you create your path, you kind of guide them into a way and a world, and you set them on this path that evidently makes it easier for them or harder for them. Or as my grandparents said, it was bumpy, dirty roads. Most of them weren't even paved yet. And then my mother and father said the roads were being built and they were smooth. And then my generation is, the roads are clean and nice and smooth and paved, the pavement is so smooth and so new. And then my my grandchildren or my children after that will have roads that are so far beyond that it wouldn't even matter anymore. So each generation has its own bumps, curves, and stumps over it. But it keeps on getting passed down that the roads that we put ourselves in will ultimately give an outcome of how our children's path will be. Because at every road there's a driveway, and the driveway leads up to a house, or sometimes a house is being built, and that's where another part of this comes in. Everybody starts out with nothing but can turn it into something. The pavement wasn't created in a day, so it takes time, but it makes more sense to walk back than it does forwards. Anybody else who comes after you will see your journey, but you will experience and know your journey, because you are the only one to create the path and you are the only one to create the way. It's not simple and it's not easy. Most of the times it's lonely, and most of the times it's hard because you're by yourself. And this is not just one pavement. This is a pavement that is built upon brick by brick, laying down the foundation and such, day by day, one brick at a time, until you have a beautiful road. And each road can either lead you to great and beautiful things, or it can lead you to fall off the cliff. And another thing is, when you're creating paths, your path, some people will come, some people will go. Some people will try to destroy your path, and some people will try to help your path. And both are given, both can be taken away, but just appreciate it for both. Know which one is your friend, or which one's an ally and which one's an enemy. And then another one is people, the path that you walk on, evidently people are going to dig up some dirt on your path. They're going to try to find dirty things that you've done in the past, but the past doesn't reflect on who you are. People will always try to bring up the past, where you started, rather than focus on what you're doing right now, because it's easier for them to walk on the path that you messed up on and see where you fucked up. Well, you're ahead of the journey now, and you've learned from your mistakes, and you learn from the experiences. And in the beginning, the road is always bumpy and, wobbly, because you're new to this. You don't have that much experience, but the more you do it and the more you try and the more you learn, the road will become smooth for them to walk on. But dirt will always try to be brung upon. You shouldn't focus too much on the past and focus on the future, because every road get brittle and corrosion takes over and it breaks and cracks. Someone will come up and restore it. I wouldn't worry too much about the past of walking on the path, because sooner or later they'll catch up to where you once were. It takes a lot longer to pave a road than it is to walk the road. So we just gotta remember that. Well, that's all I got for today. This is Quotes with Mr. Mushroom. If this is the content you're looking for, like and subscribe. And if you guys have quotes yourself, put them in the comment sections. I'd love to listen to them. And that's all I got for today. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time. All right. Enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.